Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tittle Tattle Tarot. It's Georgie. Okay, so last year I read this rather lovely book, Traitor King, by Andrew Lowney, and it's all about the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, about their marriage, about the abdication, lots of information, beautiful book. And I thought today would be a good day to do a reading on Wallis Simpson. If Edward's energy comes up on the table, I'm going to refer to him as David because that is how she would have referred to him, and his family would have called him David as well. But this is the lady that I'm concentrating on today, and I'm going to use the Tarot of the Abyss and see what I can find out. If there's anything I can just get from the cards, any energy regarding Wallis Simpson, anything they can tell me, Tarot of the Abyss. And I would just like to point out this is all for entertainment. It's just asking tarot cards to give me some energy on this lady and just see what they say. And I will interpret it as best as I can. All right, so the cards have been well and truly shuffled. So I would just do a few more passes. And when I feel ready, I'll just pull a Celtic cross from the top of the pack. We'll get all the cards on the table and then we'll start talking about them and finding out what each one is saying. Now I've got a few that are flipped over there. If they're meant to come out, they will, I'm sure. There we go, that's fine. Oh, where are we? Everyone wants to talk. They're all around the wrong way. Where are we? There we are. Okay, give them another shuffle. Okay. All right, a couple more passes, just let everything settle down. Okay. Two more. And final one, and we will pull from the top. Okay, Celtic cross for Wallis Simpson. All right, central energy. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's just try and move it so that you can see everything that's here as best as you can. All right, so I'm just going to move all this apart, and so we can see the central energy is the High Priestess. And this sort of colors everything around it. She was a woman of mystery. It was very much, what does this man see in this woman? What sort of magic has she cast over him? Does this sound familiar? What is it about her? She's a very angular woman, not attractive in a classical sense. A strangeness about her, and very difficult to get to know. And I think, that was always that aura about her. What does he see in her? What witchcraft has she got over him? What's her secret? She's got secrets. She always seemed to be holding things close to her chest. So that was the overall energy. People just wondering about this strange woman who'd come from, so far away, come from America. It was very, very different in those days. She's an American woman. Well, who is she? What is she? She's very strange looking. She's, why her? Why her? So that was a kind of energy around her. Very mystical, sort of, what is it about her? And then the energy that crossed it, or crossed her, was this Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is, it's that energy where you are going to get whatever you want at any cost. And that was very much her way of going about things. She was going to get David, and she didn't care what she had to do to get him. She would have an affair openly with him in front of her husband, which cost her her marriage. She would step on anybody. Again, does this sound familiar? She would use any tactic to pull herself up to the next social strata. And I think this was an awful lot about it. She wanted to be in with the next level in society, and going out with David and being with him just put her in a different stratosphere. And she was willing to do anything to just get that leg up in society. And she did. She did. So she was a very sort of mysterious kind of woman. People just couldn't work her out, what was going on with her. And they saw that she was very hard, very get what I want, do what I want at any cost to other people. And in her head, well, we've got the Lovers in reverse. Now, I see this as her husband, Ernest Simpson. She said that she loved him dearly, and I believe that he deeply loved her, but he had to watch her carry out this affair with another man. So it must have been totally heartbreaking for him to see it. But he benefited as well. It got his business elevated, got him elevated. It brought money into their lives, being associated with the Prince of Wales. But it turned their marriage upside down. You know, there had been a happy couple. They'd had a good marriage. But for whatever reason, she was willing to jeopardize that, which she did, of course. He left her. Because she would just do anything, any trick in the book to bring herself up even higher. So that was in the crown of the situation. You know, her marriage with her husband was falling apart because of her behavior. And in the bottom of the situation, we've got the Knight of Swords. Now, it's interesting because the Knight of Swords is usually male energy. This is the woman, and it's a very sort of slender woman, a very sort of Wallis Simpson woman, more beautiful, but that kind of, you know, sort of angular woman with the sword overhead. The Knight of Swords up the right way is get in, get it done, get out, very quick, fleeting, will do the job, won't do it with any emotion. But up the other way, it's cruel energy. And I think anybody who had been around Wallis Simpson knew of her cruelness. And I think this underpinned her, and it's underpinning the whole energy on this table. She was said to be very waspish, swords of words, very cutting in what she would say. And I think that she was very cutting with David and friends, although, you know, how close her friends were, I don't know, but very sarcastic, very pointed in her words, quite cutting and cruel in the way she used her words. So again, you know, it's bringing back this kind of energy, doing anything, saying anything to just get one up and one over on other people. And in the past, I don't think that she was ever someone who was a team player. The Three of Pentacles, up the right way, it's very much teamwork. You all pull together, you work together and you get a project done. Teamwork's the dream work, as they say, you know. It's just that feeling of working together as a team, a happy team, all pulling in the same direction. I don't believe she was ever like that, even from, you know, being a child at school. I think she was always very much a one-man band. She didn't need women friends around her. She didn't need close confidants. She was very secure in herself, I believe, from this card. Didn't work well as a team, didn't want that, didn't want female company around her, much happier with the men around her than, you know, sisterhood. Sisterhood didn't mean anything to her. Does this sound familiar again? It's very, very strange. So in the future, she had to try and get out, or both her and him, Wallis and David, had to get out some kind of publicity about her. They had to try and show with the Eight of Wands that, you know, she was a great party giver. She was a great hostess. Fantastic clothes by Chanel, you know, and all this messages went out in the press about, you know, her style, her fashion, how thin she was. She would always say, oh, you know, you can never be thin enough. And, you know, at the time, she just seemed to have the body that people were looking at and thinking, oh, you know, she's like a clothes horse. Although she was a very angular, not attractive woman, clothes did hang well on her. And I think this was all going out in the media. You know, how was Wallis's hair? How was, you know, what was she wearing? What was the latest Chanel? What was the latest party they had done? You know, what were they drinking? What were they eating? So I think this publicity was going out, you know, again, which helped to create the myth and the legend that was Wallis Simpson. So all of this is going on in the center of their lives. And then on the outside of their lives, we have, what have we got here? The Empress in reverse. Wallis had never had children. She wasn't at all maternal. And I'm seeing this Empress in reverse. I think that all of this sort of angular look that she had, I think it was a hormonal thing. I think that she was very low on the feminine hormone estrogen, and she was not an empress. I don't think that she led quite a sort of promiscuous life, and as far as anything is documented, she never had a child, never had you know, a termination of any kind. So I sort of think that maybe her estrogen, her female hormones were out of whack in some way, whatever that way might be. And she was the Empress in reverse. She wasn't the nurturing mother. Children didn't interest her. She had her dogs, but she wasn't that kind of woman that would, even if she had children, I don't think that she would have made a good mother. Far too self-centered. And again, who does this sound like? So that's the Empress in reverse. And I feel that there was something there, Empress in reverse, with hormones and a lack of maybe estrogen, something like that. Just what I'm getting from the cards. And then the next card up. Now, this is how the outside saw her. I'm taking this more like the royal family, because people as a whole in Britain were very divided about her. You know, they thought, well, if she makes the king, or not the king, but if she makes David happy, or they would have known him as the Duke of Windsor, if she makes him happy, then that's fine. And other people were very against her. But I see this as what the royal family thought about her. I'm saying her in particular. Six of Pentacles, it is the Charity card. They always had their hand out. I think that they needed, again, who does this sound like? It is history repeating itself. They needed the money from the royal family. The royal family paid David dearly. They paid him a lot of money to be away, and he had that money for the rest of his life. And I think that they saw her as taking this money. They had an incredibly lavish lifestyle. And I think that the royal family, that the Queen Mother, would have seen it very much, and very much as, you know, taking, and living this ridiculously opulent lifestyle. So yeah, on the take. That's the way that the royal family saw her in particular, but saw both of them. And she was with this King of Pentacles. He seemed to have a lot of money, David. But again, the money wasn't his. It wasn't his, and he spent it quite frivolously, and it wasn't his to spend. Again, it comes down to this handout. Had his hand out. You would think that the King of Pentacles is very grounded and down to earth. Not this King of Pentacles. He was a very young energy. Although he's coming across as a king, he was more like a page. You know, Wallis was very much a mummy figure to him, you know, very much telling him off, had the very sort of dominant figure in the relationship. And this King of Pentacles, she was with him and he had money, don't get me wrong, and she benefited a lot from her King of Pentacles, but he didn't really know how to handle his money. And without this underlying card here, without the charity of the royal family, without taking from the royal family, he would have lost those pentacles very easily. He got through money very, very quickly. And so the top card here, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I don't think her life was very happy. She got this man, and she hadn't got him through fair means. She'd caused a lot of upset getting him. She'd greatly destroyed her husband, her Ernest. She'd really hurt him to the core by this affair that she carried out in public. So there was damage there. There were her hard cutting words, the fact that she wouldn't work with people. She's very much her own woman, which can be good, but you know, when you won't take advice and you don't have anyone close around you, it can lead for a very lonely existence. And no matter what they did, they tried to sort of set her up as like this fashion icon, what she was wearing, how her hair was, and sending out messages about, you know, the look, the Wallis look. And, you know, yeah, a lot of people fell for that and were very impressed by how she looked. But a lot of people realized that, you know, there's something odd about the way she was, about the way she looked, about her sexuality. People close to her could see that she wasn't this Empress figure, that she wasn't feminine. She had that very sort of masculine side to her, and the royal family just saw them take. And David, without their money, although he appeared to be a wealthy man, really without that backing underneath him, he wasn't at all. He was totally dependent on them. And her life was really the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It hadn't gone the way she wanted. She wanted to be on top of everything, on top of the wheel. And, you know, she was around under the bottom of the wheel, because what goes around comes around. She'd built it all on, you know, heartbreak and deception and treading on people to get where she was. So I'm just going to do a little shuffle. I'm going to split the deck and just see if I can get some final energy on Wallis Simpson, her life, and just see what the cards will tell me at the center of the deck. So let's just have a little think where we want to go, see what feels right. That's where I want to be. The Devil. Very. With the Nine of Cups, it's an indulgence card. It's drinking. Um, it is that kind of overindulgence of things that you shouldn't be overindulging in. And I think that drink played a very heavy part in their lives. They were always socializing, so there was always drink around. But I think as she got older, she became more and more dependent on drink. Look at all these cups. This is in the Rider-Waite pack, the fat gentleman sitting there looking very smug with all the empty chalices around him that he's drunk and thoroughly enjoyed. And you know, a little bit of indulgence is great, but I think that towards the latter part of her life, drinking became a very big part of her life. I think there was too much of it because really her life had not gone the way she wanted. This was a very sad woman. After the Duke had died as well, I just think she spiraled down. And here we have it, the devil, devil in reverse. Karma catches up with everyone, and people say to me about the other American lady, and they say, will she ever get her justice coming through? Will she ever get her karma? Will it, she's always getting away with things. Believe me, she will. Believe me, she will. This one, she ended up, I think it was Alzheimer's, and very alone, and she had a very tragic end. So just look at these cards, see the similarities of these two women. How many times did I say, oh, does that sound familiar? Or who does that sound like? The other lady will get her comeuppance. She will. It might take a little while, but if you come from a place of swords like this and come from spite, no good will come of it. So that is the little Celtic cross for Wallis Simpson. Enjoy is not the right word, but I hope you got something from it. And I shall be back next time with something a little bit lighter and brighter. Thank you. Bye-bye.